Greetings, ghouls, and welcome back to another talk about horror television. Today we're taking a look at a devastating episode of Monsters, titled The Bargain. This one was written and directed by very multi-talented Tom Noonan. He's also a talented character actor. Horror fans may recognize him as Mr. Ullman in Ty West's The House of the Devil. Have you ever had a big crush on someone, so you try to plan what you might say to them in advance? But then when they enter the room, you freeze, everything goes right out the window, and you make a complete ass of yourself? Yeah, that's what happens here to our protagonist, a young woman who owns a used bookstore named Sarah, played by Kim Greist. I have to admit, I didn't understand this episode the first time I watched it. It gets a little wonky, so just bear with me as I try to explain this in the least confusing way. Sarah, the bookstore owner, she adores a handsome television repairman named Joe that frequents her store. He isn't much of a reader, but he comes in to buy his friend books. Our shopkeeper loves these books. She knows every author on her shelves and has intense respect for the written word. She even considers the old books sort of like her friends. They're everything to her. Sarah tries suggesting the man one of her favorite books, but he chooses another one. At checkout, she busts out a few lines from her favorite French poem. He has no clue what she's saying and leaves. Sarah loathes herself for behaving like such a fool. She picks up an old physical culture magazine. She flips through and stumbles on an ad for a new face. She calls the number just for laughs, but to her surprise, someone picks up. We flash forward to that night. There's a knock at the door.
You called about a face?
Sarah asks the lady where she's from, and she says the other side. Sarah is freaked out. She tries getting rid of this scary-looking lady, but the lady quotes what Sarah said after she embarrassed herself in front of her crush. The lady takes out some contraption to check Sarah's face. After checking her measurements, Sarah is shown the mask. She is told to try it on. She does, and it looks great, but clearly a mask. Sarah must accept the lady's bargain to obtain the face. Sarah asks her how much money the face costs, but this offends the lady. She doesn't want money. She wants every book in Sarah's store instead. Sarah hates that idea. Those books are one of a kind, and she spent her entire life building this collection. Sarah asks her why she wants her books, to which she responds she's poor of spirit. After a bit more reluctance, she makes the bargain with the devil. The mask will change how she looks forever. There's no turning back. She puts on the mask and it starts transforming her face immediately. A surely painful experience. That next day, Joe walks into the store. All the books are gone. Sarah introduces herself as Mandy, and the gentleman quickly takes interest in the bombshell blonde. Joe asks Mandy if she needs any help. He has the afternoon off. He helps her change the business sign to Mandy's. She tells him she's opening a video store. They hit it off and he pokes his head in to invite her for a celebratory drink. They have an amazing first date. He even brings her back to his apartment. They have a sweet dance. She can't believe how well things are going. As they dance, they accidentally kick a stack of books. Joe tells her that he isn't much of a reader, so he explains the books are for his friend. Days go by, perhaps even weeks. Mandy is at her store, desperately awaiting a phone call from her dreamy man, Joe. When she gets a caller that hangs up quickly, Mandy wishfully dials Joe to see if it was him. It wasn't him, and he doesn't recognize her voice anymore. He tells her that they can meet up maybe sometime next week. This doesn't sit well with our protagonist. She decides to visit him at home. She gets inside and asks him what had changed. Was it something she had said? And funnily enough, it was. She mentioned something about finding the courage to follow your heart. Joe confesses that he doesn't have a friend that loves books. He, in fact, is a lover of books. He was embarrassed. Mandy lights up. She tells Joe that books are her whole life. He's confused. She turned a great bookstore into a video shop. She tells him that she did that for him. He's even more confused now. She tells him that she's in love with him. Behind her, Sarah walks out. Well, Mandy's old face. The twist here is that Joe loves Sarah all along, and the scary-looking lady from the beginning took her face and her lover. To prove her true identity, Mandy tries to recite the French poem she once said to Joe, but fails. Sarah, however, remembers it and proves herself to Joe.
With the warm wind, et le vent tiède vient murmurer près de ton esprit fatigué. Souris tout doux mon souvenir. I told you that. Oh, Joe, I did. Don't you remember?
I don't understand French.
Joe, let's get out of here. No! Okay, I'll prove to you who I am. What do you...
She rips her frickin' face clean off, which I imagine will heal just like the other lady's face did. Ugh. Joe goes downstairs to get help at the direction of Sarah. Mandy begs Sarah to just forget everything and go back. He loves her now. Sarah reminds her that he always loved her. She lost everything. What is she going to do now? There's only one choice, it seems. She must sell the mask. This story is sad and quite spooky, but effective. It's not the easiest episode to translate into a retrospective either. The first time I watched this, I missed a lot of important details and got the story all messed up. But I think I finally got it now. The woman who sells Sarah the face is another woman who once called the strange telephone number, presumably, and received a new face. She too tried ripping hers off, leaving her disfigured and stuck with the burden of selling someone else a new face. Since Sarah gave up all her books, this affected her memory, leading her to forget the once most important thing in her life. Joe loved Sarah just the way she was, but neither character were courageous enough to make a move. Until Sarah became Mindy, and had what she considered a beautiful face and enough confidence in herself. This episode left me in my feels, I guess. We mustn't forget what truly makes us ourselves. It's all inside. It's our experiences, it's what we love the most, it's who we are that others fall in love with, not exclusively what we look like. We all age. I'm gonna rate this an 8 out of 10 for monsters. It's quite frightening, especially when she rips her face off. I couldn't imagine being in that situation. It must be enough to drive anyone mad. The acting was superb. Kim Greist was top tier playing both Mandy and Sarah. Each character was wonderfully done and completely unique. Even if this isn't the best episode, it's still very memorable and a great 21 minutes if you ask me. A huge thank you for watching this until the end, and a ginormous thank you to my lovely patrons for making this video possible. If you'd like to help support the channel with just a few bucks a month, my Patreon will be linked in the description. I post some gnarly stuff in there if you'd care to check it out. Also, each like, comment, and subscription help my video reach a wider audience, and I'd appreciate the heck out of that too. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, stay spooky.